Imagine a room thick with the sound of invisible clicks. It is not progress, but deletion. In one afternoon, 3,000 professional lives were erased from a digital payroll. No cardboard boxes or awkward farewells. Instead, there was the binary finality of an expired login and a screen refusing a username. This is the modern workforce reality, and the company pulling the plug is Oracle, the backbone of the world's data. Oracle is the silent architecture of our existence. Its databases are the nerves of global banking and healthcare. When Oracle moves, the foundations of the corporate world shift. Recently, that shift took the form of a strategic realignment, a euphemism masking a brutal restructuring. The massive layoffs hit the Cerner health division and cloud sectors. This isn't a standard downsizing driven by failure. It is something far more calculated, a step toward a future where human labor is no longer the engine. From the Austin headquarters to remote offices worldwide, the impact rippled through thousands of lives. This isn't happening during a financial crash. Paradoxically, it occurs while Oracle celebrates record-breaking stock prices and soaring valuations. This disconnect is the first major clue that we are witnessing a fundamental change in the relationship between capital and labor. Before we continue, subscribe to the channel and tell us in the comments where you are watching from. The transition is happening now, and the scale is truly unprecedented. The stakes have never been higher for us. The hidden truth is that this isn't about saving money. It is about the AI pivot. Now, Oracle is evolving into a machine that simply doesn't need as many humans. Larry Ellison, the visionary chairman, prioritizes the efficiency ratio over human capital. He announces staggering profits while thousands of employees receive the access denied notification on their portals. This is the chilling efficiency of the process. No human interaction, just the systematic revocation of digital credentials by an algorithm. It is a digital execution carried out with absolute silence. The contrast is surreal. While professionals were being locked out, Larry Ellison's net worth reached heights difficult to comprehend. The message from the boardroom is clear. Humans are a variable cost, while AI is an asset. This transition has turned Cerner into ground zero for a new corporate warfare. The goal is to move from human-led support to autonomous systems that never tire or complain. This isn't just about efficiency. It's about the total removal of human dependency. Every worker is now considered a potential point of failure. Oracle's partnership with NVIDIA has accelerated this shift. They are no longer just a software company. They are becoming a massive AI server farm where GPU power replaces human ingenuity. In the past, companies hired people to grow. Now, they buy processing power to replace the workforce they have. Every time an employee trains a new machine learning model, they provide data for their own exit interview. The machine is learning from its creators how to replace them entirely. Is this a business move or a workforce extinction event? The clinical nature of these layoffs suggests the latter. It is the end of the era where a tech degree offered protection. Systems are learning to build and maintain themselves, leaving the human element as a legacy component being phased out. The most disturbing part of this entire ordeal isn't who they fired. The real terror lies in the vacuum left behind by those ushered out. We are entering an era where the ghost in the machine is becoming the master of the house. The technology that stepped into those roles is the new standard of productivity. Oracle showed us the future, a world where human touch is deleted in favor of autonomous logic. But the most disturbing part isn't who they fired, it's who or what is taking their place. The takeover is already underway. To understand why these 3,000 chairs are now empty, one must look back at the legacy of the titan that vacated them. Oracle has never been a typical tech company. It has spent decades as the ultimate gatekeeper of the world's most sensitive information. For 40 years, Oracle was the central nervous system of the corporate world. Its database technology managed the lifeblood of global finance, logistics, and government operations. This history of dominance created a culture of absolute control, one where data was the deity and humans were merely its stewards, tending to the digital altars of the world's information. However, the landscape of digital supremacy shifted as the world migrated to the cloud. Oracle found itself in a desperate race to catch up with pioneers like Amazon Web Services and Microsoft Azure. They were fighting to remain relevant in a world where physical servers were becoming relics. To bridge this gap, Oracle looked toward the most critical sector of human existence, healthcare. The $28 billion acquisition of Cerner, a health tech giant, was supposed to be the crown jewel of this expansion. It was a play for the most personal data imaginable, from heart rates to genomic sequences. Yet, instead of a beacon of growth, Cerner became ground zero for the current purge. The integration of this massive entity provided the perfect cover for a radical experiment in automation. In the boardrooms, Larry Ellison's rhetoric began to shift. To Ellison, generative artificial intelligence is not merely a new feature. It is the greatest technology shift in human history, an era-defining moment. His public statements became prophetic of the displacement to come. He saw a world where the friction of human error and the cost of human breath were the only things holding back total corporate efficiency. This obsession with the efficiency ratio created a strange financial paradox. While stock prices soared and profits reached record heights, the internal mandate was to replace human labor with code. Usually, such immense wealth would lead to aggressive hiring. But the rules have changed. Oracle's prosperity is no longer tied to the size of its workforce, but to the lack of it. The hidden strategy is a total pivot from human-led support to autonomous systems. In the old model, if a database failed, a team of engineers would spend hundreds of man-hours fixing the issue. In the new Oracle, those humans are viewed as obstacles to speed. The company is actively building systems that diagnose, heal, and upgrade themselves. This shift was accelerated by a strategic partnership with NVIDIA. Oracle transformed from a software provider into a massive AI server farm. They began funneling billions into GPU clusters, the silicon brains of the AI revolution, rather than the talent pools of Austin or Bangalore. The math is as cold as the server rooms. In the previous era, a company needed 10,000 new employees to increase output. Today, Oracle can achieve that same growth by purchasing 10,000 more H100 chips. A GPU does not require health insurance or parental leave. It works at the speed of light, 24 hours a day, without the need for a manager to oversee its morale or its mental health. This transition from labor-centric growth to capital-centric automation is the secret weapon Wall Street is currently applauding. The market sees a company that has figured out how to disconnect profitability from the human condition. The tragedy of the Cerner employees and the cloud developers lies in this very efficiency. They were not let go because they were bad at their jobs. They were let go because their roles were successfully mapped by the systems they helped maintain. Their knowledge of health records and data migration has been ingested by autonomous models. Oracle discovered a secret that is now haunting the hallways of every major corporation. AI doesn't just do the work faster. It does it for free and more accurately than any human could ever hope to actually achieve today in this new world of silicon. The reduction of the workforce at Oracle was not a random slashing of numbers, but a surgical removal of specific roles that the company had already successfully simulated in code. While the initial wave touched every corner of the enterprise, the heaviest blows fell on marketing, project management, and the ranks of junior developers. These were the roles previously thought to require a uniquely human touch, the ability to coordinate complex projects, to craft a brand narrative, or to write the foundational lines of code that keep a database running. But Oracle's new architecture has no room for the delays inherent in human communication. In the marketing department, generative AI models now churn out campaign copy and strategic plans in seconds. Tasks that used to take weeks of meetings and revisions. Project managers, once the glue holding massive software deployments together, have been superseded by algorithmic oversight tools that track every milestone with inhuman precision. At the core of this displacement is the Oracle Autonomous Database, a system designed to be self-driving, self-securing, and self-repairing. For decades, a legion of database administrators and junior engineers were required to monitor these systems, patch vulnerabilities, and optimize performance. Today, those humans are increasingly redundant. The math behind this transition is brutal. A high-level software engineer in Austin or Silicon Valley might command a salary of $150,000 a year. An AI instance performing the same analytical tasks costs pennies in electricity and cloud compute time. When Larry Ellison looks at the balance sheet, he no longer sees a team of experts. He sees a high-maintenance expense that can be replaced by a scalable, non-depreciating digital asset. This is the new mathematics of the Silicon Age. Beyond the publicized mass layoffs, a more subtle and perhaps more dangerous process is at work: the shadow layoffs. This is attrition by automation. As employees leave through natural turnover, Their positions are not being posted on job boards. Instead, their responsibilities are quietly and efficiently folded into the burgeoning capabilities of the company's internal AI agents. Oracle is using its own sophisticated AI tools to map the corporate structure, identifying low productivity human nodes. Individuals whose output can be replicated by a script or whose role in the information flow is deemed non-essential. It is a data-driven purge where the judge and executioner are both lines of code. The most tragic element of this evolution is the feedback loop that many employees unwittingly participated in before their final departure. Over the last several years, technical staff were tasked with refining the very machine learning models that would eventually take their place. Every time a senior developer corrected a bug in an automated script or a support specialist labeled a dataset to train a customer service bot, they were essentially writing their own exit interviews. They were the teachers. And the AI was a perfect student that never forgot a lesson. Once the student reached a level of proficiency that surpassed the teacher's speed, the teacher became an unnecessary cost. This shift is governed by a singular cold metric known as the efficiency ratio. In the modern corporate landscape, human well-being and institutional memory are secondary to the ratio of revenue generated per employee. By reducing the total number of humans while maintaining or increasing output through automation, Oracle creates a financial profile that is irresistible to investors. This transition is happening at a pace that dwarfs the Industrial Revolution. What took decades in the 19th century is now unfolding in mere months. The speed of change has left no time for retraining or adaptation. The physical manifestation of this shift is striking. Walk through an Oracle office floor today, and you might find rows of empty desks. But deep within the data centers, the scene is entirely different. There, in the glowing, humming server rooms, the new workforce is alive. Thousands of GPUs powered by the partnership with NVIDIA are processing billions of operations per second. There are no coffee breaks here, no complaints about corporate culture, and no requests for raises. This isn't just Oracle's internal restructuring plan, it is the blueprint for the entire Fortune 500. The tragedy of this transition is best understood through the eyes of those who built the very foundation upon which Oracle sits. Consider the story of a 10-year veteran, a senior developer who dedicated a decade to the Austin headquarters, refining the architecture of the Cerner Health Division's data engine. For him, the end did not come with a handshake or a farewell lunch. Instead, it arrived at 9 o'clock on a Tuesday morning when his security badge failed at the turnstile. There was no empathetic HR meeting, only a standardized automated email in his personal inbox explaining that his node in the global structure was no longer required. The psychological blow of this ghosting by one's own employer is profound. In the new Oracle, you are not just fired. You are effectively deleted. The credentials that once allowed him to oversee the health records of millions were revoked by the same autonomous systems he had spent years helping to train. The script he wrote to automate server migrations was now functioning perfectly, so perfectly that it had rendered his own presence an unnecessary inefficiency. While the human cost is measured in lost careers and shattered identities, the financial markets narrate a different story. As thousands of professionals in Austin and Bangalore were losing their livelihoods, Oracle's stock price surged toward record highs. Wall Street does not possess a heart, it possesses a ledger that values lean operations above all else. To shareholders and analysts, these layoffs are not a sign of failure, but a signal of supreme health and forward-thinking leadership. They see a company bravely shedding the dead weight of human labor and replacing it with the high-margin scalability of silicon. Larry Ellison's radical vision of a streamlined entity is exactly what the modern market demands. Every time a human salary is removed from the payroll and replaced by an AI agent, the company's efficiency ratio improves. The resulting profit margins are wider, the growth becomes more predictable, and the dividends are more secure. This creates a chilling paradox. The better the company performs for its investors, the more precarious it becomes for its human employees. This success has created an industry ripple effect across the technology sector. Oracle's move to replace high-level talent with automated systems has provided a safety and numbers cover for other giants like Meta, Google, and Amazon. When one titan proves it can slash its workforce while reaching record valuations, the rest of the Fortune 500 takes note. Mass layoffs are no longer viewed as a desperate resort for struggling companies, but as a proactive realignment for the successful ones. This marks the beginning of the middle-class coder crisis. For decades, a tech career was the ultimate ticket to a stable, high-paying life. That era is rapidly evaporating. The roles that once required deep expertise are being commoditized by generative AI, leaving an entire generation of workers to wonder if their skills have reached a permanent expiration date. The consequences are global. In tech hubs like Austin and Bangalore, the local economies have been built on the stability of these professionals. When Oracle removes 3,000 jobs, the impact cascades through real estate markets and service industries. Yet, within the sterile environment of the boardroom, the morality gap widens. Is it truly innovation if the path to progress is littered with the remnants of a destroyed workforce? The tension between fiduciary duty and responsibility to humans has reached a breaking point. Oracle has chosen its side, prioritizing machine efficiency over human intuition. In the past, companies and employees grew together. Today, the machine grows by consuming the roles of those who created it. The individual is left to navigate a world where value is recalculated by an algorithm that does not value humanity. If Oracle can replace these specialized roles with AI agents, the question for every other professional becomes immediate. Who is actually safe right now within this new digital paradigm that Ellison has so aggressively and coldly built? The Oracle layoffs act as a canary in the coal mine, a warning signal that the very nature of work is undergoing a fundamental mutation. To those inside the boardroom, the transition is a triumph of logic. They argue that by removing the human element, Oracle can deliver services with a level of precision and speed that was previously impossible. Imagine a healthcare system where every patient's history is cross-referenced against every medical journal ever written in real time, managed by a system that never sleeps or suffers from fatigue. This pro-AI perspective views the current displacement not as a tragedy, but as the creative destruction necessary for a leap in human progress. Lower costs for businesses eventually translate to lower costs for consumers, or so the theory goes. Yet this objective view is cold comfort to the thousands of professionals currently staring at access-denied screens. The human-centric counter-argument suggests we are risking a social collapse by prioritizing the efficiency ratio over the social contract. There is a deep institutional knowledge that resides in the minds of long-term employees, the kind of knowledge that understands why a specific database was built a certain way or how to navigate a complex interpersonal conflict with a major client. When these nodes are deleted from the system, that knowledge evaporates. We are moving toward an economic shift where labor is being decoupled from value. Historically, if a company wanted to double its revenue, it had to hire more people. Now, Oracle has proven that it can increase its value while actively shrinking its human headcount. This leads us toward the concept of a post-labor economy, a world where the traditional link between a 40-hour work week and a paycheck is severed forever. It is no coincidence that tech titans, the very ones leading this automation charge, are suddenly the most vocal proponents of universal basic income. There is a dawning realization that if the middle class is automated out of existence, there will be no one left to buy the cloud services or the data insights that the machines generate. This UBI debate is not a humanitarian gesture. It is a defensive strategy to ensure the survival of the consumer market. Larry Ellison's trajectory suggests a future where by 2030, Oracle is no longer just a company, but a trillion-dollar sovereign entity. In this projection, the firm operates as a digital leviathan, run by a tiny cadre of elite engineers who manage an army of 1 million AI agents. This is the God model of corporate structure, where a single, unified AI oversees the entirety of the company's operations, from legal compliance to software updates, with a speed that renders human intervention obsolete. The question of regulation looms large over this silicon-driven revolution. Will governments step in to tax robot labor to fund the transition of the displaced workforce? Or is the corporate lobby already too integrated into the halls of power? The history of technology suggests that regulation usually arrives only after the damage is done. We are currently in the Wild West phase of AI-driven restructuring. This evolution is frequently compared to the disappearance of the switchboard operator, but the analogy is flawed. The switchboard operator was replaced by a machine because the task was mechanical. Today, the machines are replacing the thinkers, the people who were told that their education and intellectual capacity made them irreplaceable. The specialized developer, the project manager, and the marketing strategist are finding that their cognitive abilities are no longer a unique selling point in a world of generative models. The transition is moving from the hands to the head. And the speed of this shift is unprecedented. The question isn't whether your job will change. The question is, will your job exist in 24 months? This silence in the halls of Austin isn't the absence of activity, it is the presence of a new kind of power that does not require our consent. We are witnessing the birth of a world where the human touch is no longer the gold standard, but a legacy cost to be mitigated. The Oracle has spoken, and its words are written in a code that very few are still invited to read. The silence echoing through the hallways of Oracle's Austin headquarters is not the silence of a company in decline, but the quiet hum of a machine running at full capacity. These layoffs are not a sign of corporate weakness or a desperate attempt to balance the books. Instead, they represent a terrifying display of power. Larry Ellison has not just trimmed the fat, he has replaced the muscle with silicon. This is the ultimate revelation. AI is not a tool meant to help you do your job better. In the eyes of the digital titan, AI is the worker. The hidden truth revealed through the systematic dismantling of the Cerner Health Division is that the transition has already happened. While we debated the ethics of machine learning, Oracle was busy building the infrastructure to make human labor optional. The 10-year veteran who watched their access expire was not a victim of a bad economy, but a relic of an obsolete business model. The era of hiring thousands of people to manage data is over. We are entering the age of the sovereign entity, where capital and compute are the only two variables that matter. This is why the stock price continues to climb even as the headcount drops. Wall Street is not mourning the loss of 3,000 careers. It is celebrating the birth of an autonomous future. To look at Oracle today is to see the blueprint for every major corporation. The strategy is clear: automate the thinking, consolidate the power, and minimize the human variable until only a core group of elite architects remains. This is the new standard of success. If you are still preparing for the professional world of 2019, you are already behind. The skills that were once considered the gold standard are being swallowed by the autonomous database and generative agents. You must start preparing for the world of Oracle's 2025, where your value is measured by how well you can direct the machines that do the work. The human touch is being weighed against the efficiency of an algorithm that never sleeps and never makes a mistake out of exhaustion. In the cold logic of the modern boardroom, the human touch is starting to look like a liability. This leads us to a fundamental question. Would you trust an AI to manage your most sensitive health data? Or do we still need the human empathy that Oracle just discarded? The answer may not matter. Oracle is the plumbing of the global economy. Their databases are the pipes through which information flows. When the plumbing changes, the entire house changes with it. If the backbone of data management becomes a closed loop of autonomous systems, the human element becomes an outsider to its own civilization. We are witnessing a shift where the creators are being locked out of the systems they helped build. Larry Ellison has shown us the future, and it is a marvel of engineering. It is efficient and wildly profitable, but it is also very lonely. The vibrant corporate cultures of the past are being replaced by the sterile glow of server rooms powered by NVIDIA chips. This is the endgame of the efficiency ratio. It is a world where the machine is the primary citizen and the human is a guest whose invitation is subject to constant review. The threat is not that the machines will rebel, but that they will simply render us irrelevant. As the lights fade in the offices across Austin, a single green light continues to blink in the server room, processing millions of transactions without a single human hand involved. The story of Oracle is the story of our near future. It is a future that is already here, hidden behind record valuations. You can choose to ignore the signals, or you can recognize that the game has changed. Subscribe if you want to stay ahead of the machines, because they aren't waiting for you. The window to adapt is closing.